Right. This is Imperialist versus who?
Smart.
Versus
And
Mr.
it
Smart.
Yeah, and it's his Mordor versus
Goblins.
Smock's Goblins, and it's interesting. So this is off host. So and
Imperialist
with
Mordor
no
on the left.
yeah, with no neutral host. So this is just on Smock's host. So when you
Yeah.
have players at this high of a level, like host is often more important than matchup differential. However, on 8.4 with the buffs to the Orc Warriors, even though Mordor Mountain Trolls are nerfed, this specific matchup feels really, really hard to me for Goblins. I would go so far as to say that this is now sort of the matchup to keep an eye on and be like, is this unbalanced? Are it going back to our conversation previously? I think that we could warrant a conversation. Are Orc Warriors overpowered specifically in the context of this matchup, and
Yeah.
specifically in conjunction with Mountain Trolls? Are they actually overpowered? Is there realistic, attainable counterplay for the Goblin player, etc., etc.? So I'm really excited.
I played this matchup earlier. I played this matchup a few times now. I've been playing Mordor. Whenever I see my opponent go Goblins, I feel like I know that I'm in for an easy time. And obviously that is at a certain level of play. I'm not one of the top players, and I think we have a different conversation about matchups when we talk about Mr.SmoKkkk versus Imperialist or whatever. Or Solas versus someone, the way that they play. And perhaps balancing for that is important, but maybe won't affect the layman or the general person who plays.
Right.
But yeah, I think we're at a point now where Orc Warriors can beat Goblin Warriors one-on-one.
Sometimes it's really dependent on it's really dependent on first hit and whether or not the goblins have poison blades available.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that if both a goblin warrior and an orc warrior just like right click each other, and first hit happens simultaneously, and the goblins put down poison blades, the goblin will win with like 2 rows left.
Yeah, it will win with, I think it's like a row and a half left. However,
exactly.
Orc Warriors are cheaper by 20 gold. They also take 10 less command points. I think the build time is the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
They are.
holy shit, Imperialist builder goes down first hit of the game.
Holy shit. That's a big one.
That's
a way
fucking huge.
That's a way to sort of stabilize it. And so, yeah, if we talk about is it overpowered? Like, is this fair? Is this balanced? Whatever. The Goblin Warriors are faster than the Orc Warriors, so it's easier to sort of find openings with the one unit than it is the other, so to say. And you can see Imperialists kind of embracing this by like, okay, so the Goblin has the onus right now. He has more tools at his disposal to influence the flow of the game right now than I do, even though our units are basically interchangeable.
Yeah.
But he can pick his fights and I can't because of speed. So I'm trying to minimize that by pre-positioning defensively. Okay, but this is getting a builder in a slaughterhouse like this in this matchup is fucking incredible.
And you see this a lot from the Goblin players. This is their kind of first big attack, is that they get a little forward tunnel somewhere like here. They put 5, 6, 7 units available, get them out, war chant, and they try and split. It was well defended there by Mordor. He's only going to lose the one slaughterhouse, but it can't be underestimated just how important that is in this early matchup. And the Mordor player hasn't really done anything yet. He hasn't been to the other side of the map, hasn't crossed the middle, as it were, and hasn't really started to creep yet. Though he might be taking something here as the Goblin player takes his first 200 in the top.
And what Imperialist is doing near that warg layer is like he's probably going to kill that warg because it's accessible to him to do so. But this force is there primarily because he's sweeping for the logical forward tunnel spots. But yeah, I mean, SmoKkkk picking up another slaughterhouse in the back left of the Mordor space. That's 3 slaughterhouses that are 2, or no, he doesn't actually.
No, he doesn't. He loses it. Just defends it.
Yeah. Imperialist manages to defend it. So the Mordor player has lost a builder and 1 slaughterhouse, but the advantage that he has going for him, and something that he is surely cognizant of, is that he hasn't lost any troops, because his troops have just been hitting goblins that are faced away, hitting structures, killing themselves, trying to do damage. And so he does have a unit advantage right now, an army advantage, even though he's lost a builder and a slaughterhouse.
On a point.
Spider Riders. I don't know about that one.
I don't know either.
I don't think that's necessary. I think the cave troll, he could Spider Rider spam.
Well, the thing is that if you manage to get 2 Spider Riders out by the time he has his first mountain troll, you do kind of have your counter, right? As long as you can kind of keep in 1 or 2 extra Spider Riders relative to the mountain trolls that he has, you have those you have that longbow, you have the poison arrows from the Spider Riders that can kind of like zone them. And if he ever overextends or that mountain troll gets wounded and has to run away, you have the tool with this fast unit to run it down. So you do have some tools to deal with the inevitable mountain troll, but is it more worthwhile to go the Spider Riders as he has done, or would you rather just have more spiderlings on the map than you would have 1 Spider Rider and an extra cave or a fissure here? Because basically that's the choice that Smok has made. He has chosen to go Spider Riders instead of going lots of lings and have a fissure.
Yep.
I see. Personally, for me, I would have expected lings because he knows that cave trolls are very important in this matchup. He knows that these are going to cause a lot of damage, and I understand that Spider Riders can be situationally used to both harass and damage the cave troll, so that the mountain troll, so that it runs away, and then to chase it down. But for me, I think that lings are the most important tool to kind of zone that as the goblin player. That's the real way that you're going to try and chase that mountain troll down, rather than the very expensive and very fragile Spider Riders, which don't have great trample. You know?
And you saw a much weaker player than Smok in the last game that we watched successfully kill cave trolls with just lings and goblin warriors. So it is possible, and this is pretty tragic here, right?
God,
like losing your whole battalion like this is just absolutely catastrophic.
Is he gonna? No, 1 is gonna go away. There's no well. They're only level 1. There's no way to get those back. That's a huge loss for him. It's a very expensive investment. It doesn't get the value out of them that he needs.
Nope.
He does pull that mountain troll away from this situation here, but he's still not going to get that slaughterhouse. Go ahead, Joey.
2 things. First off, Orc Warriors build in 25 seconds, Goblins build in 30 seconds. So Orc Warriors do have a good advantage. The second thing, I personally don't really like harassing with Spider Rider melee damage. Like, I feel like if you're going to harass, you might as well just buy wings.
Yeah.
I think Spider Riders are just much better as just the better forms of Rohirrim with their just mass spamming them and trampling things. Like, just being a support cav unit, I feel is a much better use for Spider Riders than Spiderlings at this time.
Yeah.
8.4.
Like, you're almost primarily using them in bow form, looking for opportunistic tramples. You know, when in the games that I do find myself going Spider Riders, and again, this is, as has been established, I kind of compensate for the fact that I have a puny brain by not trying to do more than I'm capable of. So I will very often just default to putting my Spider Riders into bow form, because at least then they won't run into situations where I know they're going to die. And then when I have time and I have the attention to give them, then it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to go for the trample. But you can kind of see what Smok is trying to do with them there. He switches them to bow. That mountain troll very quickly to half health. The Eat Orc is going to bring him basically to full, though, with some poison ticking on him. He would love to have a 4th full battalion of Spider Riders, though, right now. That would be a big difference.
Yeah,
well, it's got it's a huge investment, though. These are 600. He's got his 4th one coming out. So he's got 3 here available, and he also had the one that was just 1 unit left. I don't know if that's still alive or not, right? So this is essentially his 5th unit at 600. So it's 2,500, if I'm right. 2,400 in Spider Riders already, which is it's a real. He must obviously believe in this game plan. I think this is the answer in this matchup.
Something I would do to really help this game plan, because he needs these things alive because of how much he's committing. I would definitely build a forge and get banner carriers for these things.
Right, but but the treasure trove is a pretty expensive investment, though, and this is inherently where my preference almost always leads me to not make Spider Riders, is just because it feels like there's such a big investment that if I go Spider Riders, they're only good when you get to critical numbers of them. Like 4 battalions seems to be the number where their bow mode is actually useful and can properly like execute and zone high value single target units like trolls or threaten flyers. And if you have less than that, it's almost like, what's the point? But if you have to get that many, you are no longer able to fit within your limited economy at this stage in the game. You're only able to really keep the 3 caves going. You can't put a fisher down. You can't get to 5 caves. You can't get to heroes. Yeah.
This is tragic, by the way.
I think the forge. I don't think the forge is very costly. It's only 600 plus the 400 for banners is only 1,000.
Yes.
Add in
And
the 4
you can spread it out.
for the spider riders. Yeah, what?
And you can spread it out. So it's not like you have to do the 1,000 cost right on top of itself. But yeah, this is
another big thing about the banner carriers, because it takes so long for spider riders level, is the 10% health and 10% damage. I do think it adds a lot, especially for units that are so small in unit size. You add a 7th battalion or a 7th unit, which that's more than 10% of your damage being added right there, and all the other units are getting 10% attack damage and 10% health, which is a lot for units of that small battalion size.
Yeah, this is the other sort of like, is this balanced? Is this too much in this specific matchup? Because the Mordor player is kind of allowed to just, at least in this game, has successfully just gone into industry and now has the full force of an industry economy. And so you're going to see a flyer any second now. You're going to start to see all of these tools that become increasingly difficult for an army built on goblin spam to be able to deal with. Stuff like Mumakil, stuff like attack trolls, flyers, etc., etc., etc. All of these things, like the goblin has to unit mix really, really efficiently and micro really, really efficiently to deal with.
He has ordered a flyer, by the way. That's just come out.
Yeah.
It's just been ordered. He also hasn't, by the way, really had to harass the goblin player. He's managed to defend so well, and the goblin players had to put a lot of investment into quite expensive units to be able to counter some of these Mordor tools. And because of that, all the Mordor players had to do is kind of sit back and defend in these kind of clumps. And now we're at the point, he's got like 5 or 6, is that 5 more mountain trolls out? They can take down a fort quite easily, And now he's got the point where a flyer's coming, and it's kind of difficult to imagine anything the goblin can do differently to really put the correct amount of pressure onto Mordor.
Right, because as the goblin player, what are your answers for flyers? What is your best answer for trolls? And to me, whenever you think about, okay, what do I have to do as the goblin in this matchup, it almost always boils down to like, boy, it sure would be good if I had a dragon right about now.
Yeah.
Because Drogoth bullies out all of the other flyers if you get him there first. He does okay against the Witch King, the Fireball chunks flyers. He just he would be amazing to run down these trolls. You could protect his fort from all ends. You could do so much, but again, the Mordor player has gone straight into industry and has this roaring economy. And if the goblin player goes scavenger, he gives up these abilities with bats and the tainted land to sort of like continue to punch up. It's really difficult to say that the goblin player, once he committed to spider riders, could have done anything other than what he has done. So to say.
Well, I
Good
think
catch.
this
an overextension from these trolls though, so this is a big moment because if Smok, oh my god.
That was naughty.
Wow.
I don't know if that got
shit.
any full units, but there's certainly 2 units here that are only one single guy left, who then might even get taken out by the worm. No, he's going to go for this. That was a big overextension, though, still by the trolls, to have lost their 2,000 or 2,500 worth of units. His flyer is out. He has gone for camel. He's also bought a second one, I think. Another 3,000 went. At this point, by the way, you need to buy banners on your fortress for 500. They make your flyers 300 cheaper each. If you got 2 coming, you've saved. Your banners are basically free.
Level 2 spider pit going down. Level 3 tunnel going down. He's gonna burn down this fissure. What a great worm summon! I mean, that was such a oh my god, it hurts me. That was such a crazy.
Oh, great! Very fun.
That was such a real touch and go moment though, because Imperialist really did overextend for a moment there, and I think that there is room to say that if Smock had played that perfectly, if instead of kiting towards his fortress with his spider riders, if he had gone, sort of out and tried to live in that no man's land in between that force of orcs and where the trolls were, he might have been able to kill all of them, and the worm would have still followed up, and that would have been really hard for him to deal with, but.
Yeah,
Killing all
totally.
the trolls, but not losing any spider riders right there is kind of the thing that the goblin needs to have happen to not lose the game. Can you check on the goblin player's power points and economy right now?
So goblin player has got 5, 10, 15 with
He does
bats.
have scavenger.
25
He
plus
does
4
have
on the board.
scavenger. The CP is very even. They both have basically 800 available, and at this point, as the goblin player, you need to find ways to trap these fell beasts, get lots of goblin archers, or the spider riders in bow form, if you can keep them in healthy enough numbers, can kind of zone them and run them down. But it's really hard to fight straight up in any capacity for the goblin player. Like, he has to be really clever. He has to lay traps. He has to wait for the Mordor player to overextend himself and then out micro him in small situations in order to come back into this one. I mean. And yeah, he really wants Drogoth. Like, I can't stress enough how awesome a fireball would be, and on these two flyers stacked on top of each other. Like, you immediately put them to half health, and you can actually sort of be free to pick your own engagements. Yeah, but very impressive from the goblin player to not have just lost off of that worm. I must say, Lord knows I would have.
This is a huge thing here as well. We're now on the second industry use. He's used it on this front level 2, which will immediately get it to level 3 very quickly, really hammer that experience home and, give him that money. And then where does the goblin go from here? Because this is the runaway train that we're all so scared of. Mordor gets industry, Mordor gets some flyers, and the snowball is in full effect. You need Drogoth for 5,000. And the only way to do that, to be able to get that parity, is Scavenger, which you've already got, which requires you to go out and kill a lot of units, which you're going to struggle to do. Or, you can get Azog into Brigandage ability and you can spam these lumber mills to try and do it up. But either way, it's a lot slower than what Mordor has available.
Yeah. This is a scenario where this tower is almost essential, and he could even do with 1 or 2 more in these important zones, because that tower is sort of like the only thing that will give him the ability to take a fight. Like, a fight in the shadow of a tower, where you can at least kind of threaten these fell beasts, is the only way you're ever going to be able to do anything. The only other option that the goblin player has, and Smock is doing a pretty bang-up job of, is you just have to keep these goblins attacking. You have to keep hitting him, even if these goblin warriors even if you're just sending them to their immediate deaths, you have to put pressure on the Mordor player in order to draw these flyers away. Because if the full force of this Mordor army, with all of these trolls, all of these orcs, and these 2 flyers, were exerted with focus with another summon onto the goblin base, there's almost no way that the goblin could withstand it, right? And so, forcing the Mordor player to be like, all right, these 2, he just split his army. These goblins are not going to live. Smock has no illusions here. This is only to buy time for him to try and get something done elsewhere.
And this is the worst thing about it, is that you're not only trying to buy time by doing this, but it's a double-edged sword, because you're buying time to try and get an attack off, which is a high-risk strat. You're also feeding your opponent. Look at his power points. 5, 10. Industry makes 20, Worm makes 35, plus 11 on the board, 46, okay? Versus you as Goblins, where you've got 5, 10, 15, 25, which means you've only got 10 on the board, and 7. You've got 32. You're 14 power points, almost 15 behind.
Massive difference. And again, like, it can't be stressed enough. Smock is on host here, so he has every extra little bit of advantage when it comes to these small situations where you have even troops, where Imperialist lost a lot of those trolls there. You, as the goblin player, have more room for your commands to go through and actually manifest than your opponent does, and you're still just getting your shit run over.
You're really struggling here as well, because I think the tech up options for... Okay, so you've got the Black Hawk option, okay, as the kind of more elite standard warrior unit for the Mordor player. But Goblin Warriors are still going to be the bulk of your army, no matter what stage of the game that you're in. They're just too, you know, half troll swords are just too expensive and too cumbersome and too slow to be able to use effectively. And all those Goblin Warriors do is die in one swoop to the fell beast, right? So you run a real problem of like, well, these guys are just going to come and defend the edges of the map where you're going to try and get some picks and just level up hugely. And the more levels they get, the more their health goes up, you know? And that's becomes a big problem.
Look at SmoKkk's base though, because SmoKk has done something again. It's like it's sort of he's been forced by the Flyers to make his base defensible, because if he doesn't have all of these arrow towers, if he doesn't have the caves to level 3, if he doesn't have the treasure trove to level 3, all of these arrow towers, they're necessary, because this helps protect you from the worm plus flyer all in, because you're not going to be able to burn all of these down super quickly as the Mordor player. And so yeah, it feels like this extra investment into your own production buildings to make them tankier, to give them that arrow tower, it's required, because you can lose at a moment's notice as the Goblin player.
Absolutely.
But it's preventing you again from getting to the tech up option that could possibly actually give you room to make progress, which is again Drogoth. But you're being forced to spend like a madman to not die. And you're going and I can't stress this enough either. SmoKk is doing an incredible job of not dying here.
Yeah. This is the problem though. Like, look at this. He's had to go, I think, to try and break
one
through
rain
this
of
defensive.
fire. All of that investment is gone.
Yeah, he's had to go for
fire,
summon spider allies, right? So he has no power points available. He's got 2 10 power points and 3 5s. That's it, okay? And then he summoned his spider allies, and those fell beasts, they were clumping on a building. They were trying to do some damage. Were taken down immediately in one swoop from a fell beast. Go on to Mordor. He has got 17 available. He's almost got his 25, which destroys everything in one fell swoop. He's got Witch King out as well. He has a Siege Works. He's got a level 3 Haradrim Palace for fire arrows. He's got a level 3 Siege Works.
Brutal. Crip Lurts, why would SmoKk group his troops like that if he knows that the Fell Beast will take them out in one swoop? Because even though SmoKk is unbelievably, and it really cannot be stressed enough how much better and how much larger his brain is than the average Rise of the Witch King player, even he is human, and even he can only control so much at a time. And this is the problem with the Goblin faction, is he does have single Goblin warriors all over the place, and he is splitting his forces, but he can't realistically control 800 CP of troops spread out in a line, all doing what he wants them to do without them clumping. But look at what the Mordor has to work with. He has 3 flyers, but because he is macroing, because he's clicking in a million different places at once, right? Like, we can't see the actual APM in this replay. Even he is sort of just evolving to like, all right, I have 3 flyers dealing with 3 Goblin Warriors. Is that an appropriate, reaction to that level of threat? No, but as players, we can only work with the amount of attention that we have, okay? And there's a beauty in understanding that. And that also is sort of the source of when we say this is overpowered or imbalanced, is this is my bold statement. With the amount of extra movement speed that the Goblin faction has in this matchup, I would say that if the Goblin plays perfectly, there would be nothing that a perfect Mordor player could ever do to ever win this matchup, just because the Goblin will always pick their fights from minute 1 and take that tempo and turn that into a victory. But we can't play perfectly, and the game doesn't work.
And look at this now. We are at the point that we worried about. He's used the worm there quite effectively to essentially get Rain of Fire, which is just
it's just gonna be it's just an I win button with those 3 flyers and Rain of Fire onto that fortress, taking out all 3, maybe even 4 of those buildings nearest to the fortress. A rain of fire with there you go. There you have it. Where's the worm?
He used it already on some troops to get actually the all the power points that he required.
I think he could have won right there if he had Rain to Fire the fort and had the worm with it there and the 3 flyers.
Yeah, I think so too.
100%.
Especially now that
there, you would have just straight won.
Yeah, and SmoK has managed to get Gorkill and Azog and upgrades. He has fire arrows, so he has some counterplay to these flyers, and he's successfully zoning them off here. It's really shocking to me that the game didn't just fucking end right now. Is anyone else just flabbergasted that the game didn't just end?
I was, but I do think that he got ahead of himself here, Imperialist, and almost used it. He almost spunked the Rain of Fire a little bit too early. I think you need
too excited. Night, first time.
I think you know, we've all been there, boys. I think you need to hold it back. I think you need to get your flyers to a decent level. You need to have an army to follow up with your Rain of Fire, and you need to you have to use it a little bit better than that as well. Like, what he actually destroyed was a lot of rubble, and not necessarily the defenses on the fort. And I think the answer is to actually shoot down mostly the defenses on the fort, have the 3 flyers have the ability to take that down, and then have everything as a follow-up.
Okay, so because the game didn't end right there, and the Goblin still has a successful economy, has both of his core heroes leveling, like Gorkill has leadership. That's incredible that he's gotten to this point. He has access to upgrades. His Marauders with heavy armor are tanky enough to actually deal to just sort of like take swoops from the flyers and still be able to slow down the ground forces of the Mordor player. We're almost at a point where I can't believe I'm saying it. It feels winnable for the Goblin player. So let's talk about win conditions. What are the win conditions for the Goblin player? What are the win conditions for the Mordor player?
So win conditions is it's basically abusing Scavenger, which in Spider Riders. I think he could get a lot more value by getting the banner carriers, giving them fire arrows, and playing very controlled and using goblins to bait Mordor and attacking, and then harassing the Felbies. So eventually it's going to be Drogoth. But to get there, he needs a Spider Riders with fire arrows, and to guard his Spider Riders or Goblin Archers well. It's a touch and go, you know, it's threatening Mordor.
What does Mordor have to do to make this one?
This one is tricky because he blew his win con a little too early. So he has to buy the time and maintain control of the map.
I was looking for where the Watcher was just used. It was used on these Haradrim Lancers, which were harassing, which I think, again, I don't know what he actually managed to kill, but by the looks of it, not much, because these guys do have their forge blade. They don't have heavy armor, but you know, they seem to have survived mostly. Was that a bit of a spurge of the Watcher here from the Goblin player? I really expected him to bait a big team fight in the middle somewhere and be able to, you know, kind of bait those 3 Felbies forward, kill the army with Watcher, and then focus all of his fire onto the Felbies themselves.
Yeah.
Was that a bad power use from him? I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Maybe. The other thing, though, about this matchup is because there's so many spam units, like Mordor is just performing with tons of spam units and then these all-important flyers, is that if there is ever a situation as the Goblin player where you want darkness, it's this one where you and he gets the kill. That's a huge mistake.
That's oh my god, is he gonna lose the Witch King here? Is that 2? Oh, he's gonna get away.
Not quite. But imagine if he had darkness there. Imagine if he had darkness plus the Gorka leadership and then plus a buff right there. Those are the tools that he needs to negate these flyers.
This is what I expected, though. This is what I thought the Watch would be used for. You bait this army, you use it here, and then that follows up immediately. And when you've got the Poison Arrow ability, for those who don't know, will outrange your normal shot. So you can shoot these guys down, and then the Poison Arrow ability will shoot them when they're technically out of range, and finish them off, which you saw there. I really thought that's what we'd be seeing. It's kind of huge to have got it there. If he'd have got a second flyer, I would have said it would have really turned the tempo of the game to the other way. But I think as it is, the Mordor player still got the upper hand. But it can't be understated just how well the Goblin player is playing here, even though they're losing, inverted commas, you know.
Yeah, inverted commas. No, absolutely incredible here. And the thing is that if the Goblin player manages to get to Dragon off of this push and manages to wipe out all of these core level 3 structures in this Mordor's base off of a Dragon summon or even a Worm summon, Like this game can flip. And we've talked about Drogoth a lot, and one thing that should be said is that Drogoth would still be really useful in this situation, but if you bring Drogoth out into a game where the Mordor player already has 3 flyers at his disposal, you are buying a $5,000 fireball bot where Drogoth comes out, he fireballs, and then he retreats until those flyers are dead. Like, he's almost not allowed to do anything because he's such a precious investment. And the moment you have him leave the base and he dies to those 3 flyers, like you can't afford to do that. So yeah, it's almost like not worth it for the Goblin player if he can kind of like carve out space on this map, doing what he's doing, like killing this forward base, that siege works, those towers. This is a really impressive, really big swing, and all just because he got rid of 1 flyer and he's tanky enough to deal with them.
And he's forced the Witch King here onto the ground. Obviously, he's got his mace for his splash. He's got his sword ability well to try and take care of the heroes a little bit. They do special damage against the heroes, I believe, bonus damage. But he, by forcing him down here, he's now scared for his flyers. It's quite important. And to try and keep those guys out of the air means that Drogoth can maybe do a little bit more.
And these Nazgul on the ground, like, you have a Stinger and an Azog Battle Rage to worry about. Like, you are thrilled as the Goblin player to have these flyers on the ground. Oh, and you can see really good usage of the Azog level up ability there. He's using that Crack the Whip, I think it's called. Yeah. And it works on the Spider Riders too, so he almost doesn't need banners.
We've got attack trolls on the field now as well. We do have a we've got a level 3 troll cage, a level 2 and a level 3 Haradrim Palace. He also had another one here, which is only level 1. Some level 2 and level 3 orc pits as well, next to all of his well-defended level 3s, and a level 3 siege works. Black Rider's still not on the field though, which I don't know if he's going to go for it this time. I don't know whether he feels he can get any value out of them with these fully upgraded half-troll marauders around. But what else can he do? Also, the fully upgraded Morgoth Spire, which is now going to get fired just in time, boys.
Is it going to land? Is it going to be high value? Smok, anticipating this, splits his force. Very minimal damage from this huge shit. Dude, Smok is so fucking good at this game. Holy shit.
So fucking good. We've now got the elite archers as well. Haradrim Lancers are out. And I have noticed that Goblin player has got, obviously, the banner carrier upgrades on his treasure trove, which I can't click on for some reason.
You can highlight it. You can drag it, your mouse over it. And then,
he's got his banner carriers, fire arrows, forge blades, and scavenger armor. He's also got 6,000 gold.
5,000 gold. Ooh, do it. Do it, you know you must.
Buy that fucking guy.
Look at the
CP lock. Yeah, he can't. There's no room CP wise, but I mean, listen, as the Mordor player, there are still things that you can do. Mumakil are really good in this matchup, and they're good in this situation too because they can trample through the Marauders. And I might be wrong about this, but I know that it was true on 2.01. If a Mumakil charges Goblin Marauders, because they can't be crushed, they do no crush revenge. So the Mumakil almost act with complete impunity against goblins. No way for the pike to protect, and so it's only the goblin archers with their fire arrows have the ability to bring them down, which is really quite difficult. And also, to pick up on conversations that we were talking about before this game about a truly imbalanced, broken patch, we preface this game by saying that I think that this might be an unwinnable matchup for Goblins on 8.4, which is a really extreme statement that I say with great trepidation and with the caveat that I am often wrong and I am a very stupid person. But on 2.01 in this situation, those attack trolls on 2.01, they start with the ability Dominate Troll, and on 2.01, it affected half trolls. Can you imagine playing this fucking matchup on that godforsaken patch? Ladies and gentlemen, everybody fucking log on to PayPal and send Braybox $5 right now.
But you young whippersnappers, you don't know how far we've come. I've seen some shit in this game, boys. You weren't fucking there. You're talking about, oh, I feel like Alt Warriors are overpowered now. You don't fucking know what overpowered means. You know in 2.01, no one ever made Guardians because Phalanx was so strong.
Dragon.
Where's the dragon? Oh, shit.
Oh, if he can clean out all these
There's
level
a
3
spot.
slaughterhouses.
He's losing so much HP.
We're
Come
gonna see
on.
the reverse power swing because the summon meteor is up really soon here. And
It is
Worm
with
up.
the worm. He's also got
Got about a
industry. He's
minute.
cleverly not going to use it yet, of course. He needs to be able to defend these.
Oh, he used it actually.
Did he? Where did he crack that whip? He must have put it some.
Probably
He's here, yeah, out of the way. Well defended.
There's shit happening in Smock Space. Go to the other side. What a game, boys. Gotta say, what a game.
Okay, Drogoth is out now.
Drogoth.
Fire Drake available, 1500. Still going to be CP locked, I
He won
think.
all that shit. No, the Fire Drake from the fort doesn't cost CP. That's one of its great
They're not
strengths.
fantastic. He's going to take this level 3 down as well.
Oh,
No, he's
oh,
not.
no, he's not.
Are the Spiderlings?
God!
No, they're
No,
not.
because he
Fucking
because
hell.
he friendly fired his lings. He friendly fired his own lings, boys.
What an idiot. The worm has come out here. You know, this is dog shit gameplay that we talk. These players fucking suck. This is okay. So this is what I want to talk about last time as well. When you use Rain of Fire, use it on all of these buildings. They did not die. The rubble was there, and they've rebuilt. So all he did was take out 4, 5, or whatever, and a level 3 that he got down totally with his worm summon. I feel like he's used his worm summon too early again. He needs Rain of Fire. Rain of Fire to destroy all of this, which will then defend the worm summon because there will be no arrow towers and anything to attack it.
The CP swing is outrageous. So the Mordor player only has 575 CP available right now versus 875.
Loses his level 3. No, he doesn't. He's almost going to lose this. Will get it defended, though. I thought he lost that then.
No. Get out, Drogoth. Oh, the barbed arrows. No. Oh, wait. That's not Drogoth.
Oh, that's it. Drogoth's up here. Ah! Oh, my Christ. Rain of Fire is available, but what you don't want to do is blow your load, boys, too early, all right? Bear's jealous of the gameplay. Listen, these guys, I'm going to teach these guys a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two, all right? I'll show you how you play Mordor. All of these units that he's made, useless. You just want alt warriors. There's the Watcher in the water in the middle, taking down this forward force, leaving it so that Drogoth can come, finish off this, maybe and trace down some more of these Harads. Witch King's here, the level 3, almost level 4.
This is so. One of the mechanics about having flyer fights in this game is that a flyer, if you move a flying unit on this map, if you just click somewhere on the map, they have a base movement speed. I don't know the numbers, but if a flyer is attacking something, they get a movement speed boost. So if two flyers fight each other and one is running and one is attacking that flyer, the pursuing flyer has extra attack speed and will land many more attacks than he would if they were just fighting each other. And so a hot tip for any of you people with your eagles or your fell beasts or whatever, if they're in danger, if there's a lair in a safe spot on the map, always attack a target far away to get some extra movement speed out of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Pretty good.
Do
they also take, and this might be quite, I don't know if you know the answer to this, do they also take like friendly fire damage? If you've got your 3 flyers fighting Drogoth, do they take friendly fire damage from each other in the kind of ensuing clusterfuck?
No, but there are weird scenarios where like a swooping fell beast or something could get hit by like some fire ammunition from a catapult. And that will do massive damage to them if it hits, but it just never happens, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm pretty sure that, like, theoretically, Drogoth could die if he gets hit by, like, an Angmar ice catapult shot.
Yeah. I mean, the game just doesn't fucking work. But it's nice to see it. Right, we talked a little bit about win conditions. We're now at the point again where we've had the Summon Dragon. We haven't yet had the Rain of Fire, but we've had the Worm. Again, I think he blew his load too early. How does the Goblin player win this?
The Goblin player can win if he just keeps doing what he's doing. If he doesn't lose focus, he is grinding this Mordor player out. Scavenger is proving to be the stronger of the economic powers. He's kept his heroes alive. I'm almost positive. If you could find Gorkil and Azog to confirm, I would really appreciate it. If
there's Gorkil, he's level 5. There's Azog, he's level 7 now. Gorkil has not died.
Yep, if nothing changes, the Goblin player will eventually...
Bye, Drogoth. Get gone! Drogoth goes!
Oh, no!
And the Screech.
That hurts. That one hurts a lot.
Ooh.
Mordor can come back into it is to remove that Drogoth, and what I just
swing.
described happened again because Brown Bear didn't see it, but I can guarantee you that those Fell Beasts were just hitting way more attacks as soon as you start.
Totally.
As soon as you start running, if you have aerial combat, you are going to take way more damage. So you have to choose when you run away with great care. But I'll tell you, if the Goblin player doesn't make mistakes, even after losing Drogoth there, the Mordor is going to need Balrog on top of the Rain of Fire with all 3 flyers to be able to sort of overpower this upgraded fort while it's being defended. You know, if Drogoth comes back, Drogoth just with the fort and the ambient arrow towers from level 3 structures is going to be enough that even with all of those summons, he will be able to withstand that attack from the Mordor. So, Imperialist has to pick his fights really, really carefully.
Oh, he's really dedicating himself here to try and get down one of these flyers. Puts down the tainted land, but will not get it. Didn't use the poison arrows.
God, I want him to go darkness so badly. And at this point, and it would be a really big deal because if he could go darkness as the Goblin player, one of 2 things is either going to happen. Either Imperialist ignores it, and now you can buff stack out the ass because you have Gorka leadership stacking with Tainted Land, stacking with Darkness. That's a triple buff stack onto these Goblins and buffed half trolls, which is like an insane amount of boosting. And that's just going to help you overpower your opponent, or you force your opponent to go darkness to cancel yours and slow down his path to getting his Balrog. Both of those, in my opinion, are huge wins for the Goblin, and he needs his Balrog less than his opponent does at this point. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, definitely that.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
No problem.
Nice to have you here. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3. There's the Rain of Fire used. He still has Gorgoroth's Spire though. I almost wish that he hadn't used Rain of Fire there and used Gorgoroth's Spire instead.
He's taken every opportunity he can to keep this game going.
There's the Fire Drake.
Did you see the Fire Drake? The amount of damage that it did to swooping Fell Beast? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that shit. Are the Goblin heroes still alive? Because Rain of Fire plus...
They are. Level 6, level 7.
See, I don't think that Black Riders are very good in this matchup, but one thing that they are good at is running down these heroes. If you can Rain of Fire or Gorgoroth Spire, clear out these bodyguards that are protecting these Goblin heroes, and then you can run them down with the flyers, that's going to be a massive swing, but like you're not going to get a lot of value out of them from harassing these level 3 tunnels or by trampling Goblin archers. Like, that's not ideal for the Mordor player, but man, both players have recovered really well on CP, spamming their resource buildings, despite how back and forth this has been.
Mordor's had Barrage at some point, and I missed it being used. It's that hectic of a game.
Yeah, and we missed it because we were too busy listening to Joey's fantastic analysis. I just want to remind everybody that has been here with us since the outset of this game, or if you've just come in and started watching now, the Mordor player was straight up dog-dicking this Goblin player for the first at least 30 or 40 minutes of this game. And the Goblin player just held on by the skin of his teeth, and now you see this like crazy back and forth. Big powers are coming into use. And a lot of players will say that once the game gets to this point and both players have access to all of this army wipe ability, it almost becomes tedious. It's the most important thing that will decide the winner of this game is sheer fucking force of will.
Yeah, it's keeping your focus here. Yeah, okay, don't get me wrong. All of these, it gets to a point where the powers are one of the most important things you can do, and using them effectively is very important. But it's actually the way you use them effectively is by not letting your focus slip for a moment and keeping that force of will up. I think that's what's going to really separate the men from the boys here, whether or not these players can actually do that, and that's what's going to call it. Because already we've seen mistakes from both players, slight lapses in concentration, which have allowed the game to go on for this long. If these guys were playing perfectly, if they were playing both a perfect game, this would have been over within like 10 minutes. But it hasn't been a perfect game from either of them. They've both made mistakes, and both capitalized on the enemy's mistakes really well. So it's kind of interesting to see where it goes from here. We have got Gothmog and Mouth of Sauron both on the field. Mouth of Sauron's only level 1 now. Gothmog, though, level 6. He's got his Iron Hand ability, but we still haven't seen the third flyer come back because Mordor, if I'm correct, 1000 CP, he's got 920 used versus 750, 712 used for the Goblin players. Kind of struggling to re-expand, I think, with these flyers harassing so well.
Oh, yeah. Let's take bets. Who's going to win this game, boys? Because it's anybody's game. Let's be honest.
Mordor. I'm going to say it's going to be Imperialists.
I think I still am so impressed by Smok that the sheer determination and force of will to stay in this game, I think that he's going to take it.
There goes the worm.
I think is that Goblin's worm or Mordor's?
That's Imperialist's worm. That's Mordor's worm, which again I feel like is wasted here.
It's going to be Goblin's going to pull this out because I believe he has the other 25 power point right now.
Let's have a look. Mr.SmoKkkk Goblins has 23 on the board.
So, and the Dragon's going to come up soon. We're going to see Lings, Balrog, and Dragon.
With the Watcher, maybe?
I think the Watcher's going to be used defensively here.
Yeah, if he can wipe out this Archer force, it's going to be a really big boon.
Well, this is the thing now. Look, we got nothing available.
Ooh, is that a dead Azog?
That might be.
There? No, where? Where? No, he's alive. Azog's alive. Azog's level 7.
Okay.
Gorkill was lower HP.
There's the Watcher. The Watcher summoned.
Those are dead heroes. Those are dead heroes. They gotta be.
I think that might have... No, because there's Gorkill. There's no dead heroes.
Oh my gosh, the long range Watcher fling.
Azog and Gorkill still alive, boys.
Oh my gosh.
That was an unbelievable Watcher smack. There's been so
the
many,
builder!
like...
Look at the builder! He's getting eaten! Did you see that? I did not know that was possible.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that before, I don't think.
He's got to have Balrog now.
There goes Drogoth. All 3 flyers are at level 8 as well. 2 of them level 8. Witch King level 6.
Fireball land. Don't chase! Don't chase! Don't chase! What are you doing, Smok?
Balrog comes out here. This feels like a bit of a waste. He won't get the whip off, will he?
He wanted to bait. So what he was trying to do there was he was trying to bait the flyers into attacking Drogoth, and the fire AoE from the Balrog does do damage to the flyers. There is a situation there where if that works perfectly as Smok intends, he one-shots all the flyers right there.
Dragon has been used as well. Check the Mordor's base.
Oh my god, it's another... He's a gold, baby. Gold, baby! Is that a bug?
No, that's collector's edition, baby.
It wasn't this first time. Is that Azog who's gonna die, by the way? Somewhere? Fuck it, I think Azog's dead. Dragon comes out, doesn't seem to get much, really.
No, he wiped tons of level 3s there.
Well, yeah.
There's the barrage.
There's the barrage. Both Gorkill and Azog very low HP. What's gonna follow up here, though? Balrog summon for Mordor.
Listen, if he can live through this Balrog summon and he manages to get to summon the deep from the Gorkill, one of the strongest abilities in this game. Absolute one of the strongest abilities in this game. The
Level
I think
7 he is at the moment. 3 fire drakes in the cast control.
Oh, and they all come with Inferno unlocked.
They all come with Inferno, so fucking strong. But now look, here comes the Balrog from the Mordor player. Will he whip Drogoth here? Doesn't manage to kill him. Not ignited though. But now
he's gonna die to these flyers now because he's overextended. Watch aerial humping. Oof. Yeah, see the Drogoth is trying desperately to fly away, but it's just hit after hit after hit. Some aerial intercourse.
Oh, he's gonna push away. The other 2 flyers aren't available. I don't know if they've both gone down now. They must have done. Balrog walking in though. Still got a lot of time remaining. Can use the fire whip again.
It's going to be a high value flame breath here, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's pretty huge.
But this game will continue.
That's
we're
fucking
going to see another round of 25 power points before this game ends. That's my bold prediction, unless one of the players had enough. Because this game is no closer to ending than it was 30 minutes ago. It's just
comes out for Mr.SmoKkkk too.
So wounded.
Ooh, so ridiculous.
Go darkness, Smok!
Mr.SmoKkkk, with literally almost all the PowerPoint tree apart from darkness, he knows that Andy's getting annoyed. He's never going to choose it.
Retroactively, he knew in the future that we would be watching this and I would be mad, and it's the only reason.
How do I piss off the boys? Are you going to make darkness? No, I don't think I will. It's one of those. Still though, level 7 Gorkill has not gone down yet. Here comes Drogoth as well for a bit of backup, taking down this barricade. Gorkill's going to get out of there. He's done very well to keep these heroes alive. Did lose Drogoth though, unfortunately. Is that the...
Insane impressive. Another bad Gorgoroth. So he's 1 for 3.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wish the timer... Gutty says, I wish the timer didn't reset when you change Observer. Yeah, man, so do we all. How long is this game going on for?
Like 40 minutes at least.
No, man. Over. It's at least an hour now, right?
We're at least at an hour, yeah.
Yeah, this will be going on YouTube though, so we'll know then, shall we say. Also, this is another thing, the launch Skull's ability, secondary fire option for Mordor's catapults. In 2.01, this was so OP. You used this.
That was broken.
This was broken. You had one of your catapults with this on and one with fire. And did the fire set fire to the skulls and cause this kind of thing? Was that what it was?
Yes, because the skulls would light on fire, so you would have massive amounts of ambient fire while you were perma-fearing your opponent.
Permanently feared.
And there was much less. There was much less anti-fear in 2.01 as well. So just Mordor, just absolutely one of the factions most indicative of how broken and imbalanced that patch was.
Oh yeah.
But it was better, and we should go back to it.
People talk about Angmar having a problem with not having like no fear resistance ability. It's like, yeah, you weren't on 2.01, boys. So the launch Skull's ability, if I can find a catapult, it basically fears your opponent. Use Skull's ammunition to cause fear to enemy units. But in 2.01, when those landed on the floor, they were set on fire by the primary actual, just the fire blast thing. And eventually, on big games, you would cause it to go out of sync because of the amount of fire. So, and like that was the big thing. And like, if you were playing Nandu and you were Mordor, like within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like the game would be out of sync, and everyone would be like, "For fuck's sakes, who the fuck?" Like, they didn't know it was you. Everyone just be like, "Can you fucking not do that?" It's like, sorry.
And you're just like, no, we need it.
You're like, no, we need to do it. It's fun. It's like, yeah, it was, but it's broken, boys. He's got a lot of these kind of little forward orc pits and stuff. I don't really see the value in them. I think he's, I don't know.
The value in them is that it creates roadblocks to the advancing goblin forces to slow down and to start hitting something that is less important.
Kills it itself, by the way, with his own catapult there. Must have got sick of the thing.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. Okay. 10 power points available for Mr.SmoKkkk, 5 away from darkness. Mordor, though, with 14 available.
He's going to go dark first.
He's going to go darkness first. He's 1 away.
He has nothing else except for Untamed Legions, which would actually be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be fairly good to increase the speed. What does it do for Mordor? It's going to be your Mumakill and your Troll Cage, which isn't here anymore. There it is. No, it's not. It's been destroyed.
Build a Mumakill Den and Untamed Allegiance at
level 3 it. First of all, you get 10% upgrade for level 2, then 25% to level 3. Criplets, can they kill each other soon? I want to go to sleep. No, my friend. This is how pro players play. The way you win as a pro player in this game, and this is what a lot of people don't know, is that you wait for your opponent to have to leave, and that's how you win most of the games. You just have to outwait them. When they need to go and eat dinner, that's when you win.
That was really well microed by Imperialist, forcing the split on top of the fear. There's no totem available right now. He's going to clean up these archers. He has Rain of Fire available and the Worm, so we go back to the classic win condition of the Mordor player can Rain of Fire, worm this fortress with the 3 flyers, lose them, but kill this fortress, and this game would be over.
Oh no! Mr.SmoKkkk uses darkness. It is immediately counteracted by Imperialist darkness. Half a second later, he holds onto it until Mr.SmoKkkk uses it, and then uses it straight away again.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Disaster. Absolute disaster for SmoKkkk. He finally gets darkness. He finally heard me, and he's going to lose the game for it, which
Look.
frankly, is to be deserved because he didn't get it sooner.
Well, that's it. So your darkness, for those of you who don't know what just happened, when you use darkness, if your opponent uses it again, like, it wipes your darkness out. It overrides your darkness. You can only have one available at a time. So Mr.SmoKkkk uses it, and literally the tiniest split of a second later, it's used by Mordor, who now is running around free reign with this buff of 33% damage, 33% armor, which is a spell. So this spell stacks with Tainted Land and Leadership.
Yeah, stacks with that Gothmog leadership.
Oh my god. Gorkill's going to go down here, is he? No. Gothmog might go down though. Gorkill survives, I think. Gothmog. Is he going to go? He's 1 HP. He's getting whipped.
He's getting nay-nayed.
He's getting whipped. He's dead. Gorkill's down. Azog's still alive though. Malphasauron gets away, and I think Gorkill, if I'm correctly, the Goblin King survived too. He did survive, only just level 8 now. Level 9. Sorry, level 10 is going to get his call from the deep. Super strong. The Inferno in these Fire Drakes is just absolutely horrendous.
I just want to point out that Darkness will never get used again. Because now they both know that they have it, and whoever uses it first from now on, it's like, well, it's going to immediately get wiped out by my opponent. So, Imperialist had purchased Darkness before SmoKkkk did, but with great wisdom realized, listen, we're towards the end of the game. I fully explored my PowerPoint tree. He's doubtless going to fully explore his PowerPoint tree, so he will surely have to use this spell. I'll just wait it out. I'll play the waiting game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely insane. There's no real other way that these PowerPoint paths could have been taken by any of these players. That's all. One thing that I like to look at the end of the game is like, okay, a different PowerPoint exploration, does it result in a different game? But now we're at the point where everything is being explored. Both players have exhausted all the possibilities of different combinations to try and win. And we're getting to the point where I mean, if this is me in this game, I'm already fucking bored, and I've turned it off. I've already lost concentration, and I've already lost this game.
100%.
Well, these guys don't. Barrage comes down by Imperialist. He uses that. He doesn't have anything to follow up. He takes Industry, whips that on one of his level 3s again to get the cash that he needs. He's CP locked, but he's got...
I think that
this might be it.
The danger here for the Mordor player is that he kind of has to end here because SmoKkkk is going to have Dragon and Balrog at the same time, and Dragon and Balrog in the Mordor's base, it likely would be enough for SmoKkkk to win the game. So the next couple moments here are going to be really, really critically important for Imperialist if he can finish the game before these powers come down or force the powers to be used defensively. And it seems like he can do it.
He has to do it. He has to win here. He's managed to get the Goblin player down to 257 CP versus his 876. He's got no real way to start expanding now. He's got the power advantage, and now he needs to push it and actually finish the fucking game before this dragon comes up, before this Balrog comes up. He's already gotten the worm, Mr.SmoKkkk. He can use that defensively here. I think he probably should be, but he might be saving it for that one big attack, which if it's timed correctly, wins him the game.
I just want to point out, man, that first Balrog summon that SmoKkkk used, where he was trying to snipe the 3 flyers. Ooh, 1 flyer goes down for the Mordor player, but that first Balrog, if he had used that in conjunction with the summoned dragon and managed to get Drogoth or his 2 leveled heroes in there, they surely would have died, but maybe he kills the fort there and then manages to close it out. And the same thing with that first Watcher summon. If that first Watcher summon is instead Darkness, does he then have the ability to overpower the Mordor player and win this game? But is he going to win anyway with this, what is sure to be the Dragon and Balrog used in conjunction? He's just waiting for a scout, or he's waiting for...
He's used Untamed. This is what you love to see as a Goblin player, when he's got all the PPs, so he actually goes into the second row. This is big dick energy. You never see that in the game, boys. 24 for Imperialist, though, on the board. What is he missing? Is he missing anything?
No, he's not missing anything. That's it. That's the whole PowerPoint tree. Oh, no. What is he missing? What are the 10s?
What are the 10s? Tainted Land? No, it's a 5, isn't it? So he's got
5.
Barricade, he's got Arrow Volley, he's got Industry. That's all the 10s.
No. There's 4 10s. What's the 4th 10?
Is it Untamed Allegiance?
Yeah. it's Untamed Allegiance.
There's the dragon summon in No Man's
Not
Land.
on the fort, though.
What
in
the
no Man's
fuck?
Land. Again, Smok. What are you doing, man?
What are you doing, buddy? No
I
Balrog
swear
to
to
follow up.
The Balrog and the dragon on the fortress. I'm not certain that it could kill it, but I think it's damn close, and you could maybe finish it off with Drogoth. But instead, he's going for the long game. He's just trying to wipe production buildings.
Here comes the Balrog.
Yeah, he's trying to wipe production buildings and resource buildings here. Is it the right choice? I don't know. He has Ling Summon and Wildman on top of this too. With the Drogoth, would it be enough? One fire breath.
He's got barely any value out of this goddamn dragon summon. This on here, by the way, takes down all of these extras that you've got, all these defensive bits on your fortress. That's what it's great to be used for. But it goes away, and now the Balrog is here, being taken down pretty rapidly, to be honest, by all of these upgraded fire arrows from everything. Jeez Louise, boys, we're still in the game.
I don't know how much more I can take, gentlemen.
Joey clocked out 30 minutes ago. Can't believe we still haven't seen the Black Riders on the board. He has taken... It wasn't Tamed Allegiance from Mordor. Yeah, he's taken it as well. What can he use it on? Mummikill Pen and Troll Cage, and that's it. And he doesn't have either. Balrog goes down. Spider Summon comes up with the wild men. Takes down this level 3. And that's it. Might get a few more things here, but...
Who's winning right now? The Goblin is, right?
No,
Surely.
the Mordor is.
No, because he still has Drogoth. Where are the Mordor Flyers? There's one.
There's level 8. And there's the other 2. No, wait,
okay,
what?
Okay.
No, wait, no. That's Gothmog. He's only got one.
So it's one flyer to one flyer. Is Gorkil and Azog still alive? Because Gorkil can one-shot any hero on the ground. Like, he can one-shot Mouth of Sauron. He can one-shot Gothmog. If he lands the Witch King again, that, you know, they're just gonna die.
I think Gorkil might be dead. Azog's level 9 over here. Haven't seen Gorkil in a hot minute. God, I wish this replay system would be so much better, where you could fucking click, you know what I mean? You could see all of that.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine? Jesus Christ. Devs, get on that. Come on, build us a separate thing. We can.
Listen, if you don't make the replay system better, developers, I'll say it right now. If you don't fucking do that, we're all gonna quit. We're gonna have a walkout, and it's gonna be your fault. And you're fucking idiots.
And if you want, the Boyz clan will disband because of this. And do you want to do that to the community? We are the community, bro. I would say that Goblin isn't winning primarily because of that really bad summer where he didn't seem to particularly get anything. I mean, obviously you got the level 3s, but not getting the fort like that, I think, is pretty huge. I think we are okay. First of all, mad respect to both of these players for not spamming fortresses.
Yeah, Joey's just watching this game and he's like weak.
I was thinking like Cloudy Wolf is watching this going, weak shit, boys, weak shit. Where's your fight? I love that game where he literally was it Aoi where he typed to him, like Aoi. Who was it?
It was Joey versus Fairy.
Versus Fairy.
Joey was playing his Eisen versus Elf, and Fairy losing starts making towers and puts mercs in them, and Joey just goes, look, like. I have Fuel the Fires. I'm just gonna start making fortresses.
He literally types literally types in global chat after he sees these towers with mercs. Yeah, I'll just make 5 fortresses. So, like, and like if you don't know Cloudy Wolf, if you don't know Joey, you don't get him to that point. He loves it. He will play a game for 3 hours where he just makes fortresses and will enjoy every fucking second of it, and it'll be horrible for you. And Fairy just goes, alright, GG, and just deletes. It's like, yeah. He's like, I'll do this all day, bro. I don't care. I've got nothing else to do.
So one thing that we can talk about, the difference between these players, is Imperialist is reacting to this late game chaos better than SmoK is. SmoK keeps trying to rebuild his production buildings near his fortress, the logical place. Imperialist accepts and understands that no building that he builds is defensible other than the fortress itself because it is upgraded. So Imperialist has all of these forward bases that you were talking about earlier. Part of that is like, look, if you summon Dragon in my base, I'm going to lose every single one of those buildings. But if I just have a forward base somewhere with 3 production buildings, like, are you gonna summon it there? Not unless you find it, you know. And I think that honestly is going to be the big difference maker here, as Imperialist, after all this time, slowly closes this game out.
Well, Imperialist gets a pretty good Balrog Breath of Fire there, if that's what it's called. Manages to kind of clear the fortress. But then his Balrog just walks around for the next 30 seconds. It doesn't manage to do much. I think we've seen a lot of that, like, okay, don't get me wrong, a lot of these big power points. The Worm is the notorious example that is fucking horrendous to try and micro. Just doesn't... Holy shit! Get out of there! Oh my god, Witch King's gonna go down here. Surely. No, Drogoth runs away. Not available. Those Haradrim archers coming in clutch. Witch King level 8, almost level 9. He does have his Hour of the Witch King ability, which he could have used there on Drogoth as well to make sure that he didn't have that Firefly or the Fireball available. Jesus Christ.
We're getting to the point where you might have to control forward space, man. I don't know what to say.
Do we skip it here, you think? Do we push it forward slightly?
I don't know, boys. This one is still intense, but at this point, I have to say, just looking at the mini-map, it feels like it's just a matter of time before the Mordor player closes this one out.
It's got to be over, okay?
Joey, are you even still here? He's not even still here. Unbelievable.
Is he in the Discord?
He's decided that this is not worth his time.
He's gone.
The only person making good decisions with their lives right now. If you're in chat still watching this, me and Dan sitting here, we've wasted our lives.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good game. It's a very good game. But these two players are both at such a high level that they're making mistakes that they're struggling to capitalize on. When your opponent makes a mistake, you need to capitalize on it. And these guys are struggling because you must be fucking exhausted. I'm exhausted watching this happening. A watcher was someone before, and I just didn't care. So it's kind of like at that stage. I'm going to go for the fast forward, I think.
It might end on this push. I say we've seen it through this far. These players played it out through doubtlessly awful lag. We can do them the honor of at least bearing this misery with them.
This misery.
Fantastic game. Probably the most epic, outrageous game I've ever seen. Very clearly, like, listen, if you talk about some of the outrageous games of my youths, this, where it's like, that was like, it did kind of turn into a shitty slugfest, but man, it felt epic. Like, there is a story in this game of a goblin in a matchup that seems impossible, against every odd, barely holding on to the game, just by the skin of their teeth, staying into it, and then blowing it open into a situation where it looks like they could overpower the Mordor with all of these powers and these heroes and these upgraded half trolls. But then it just keeps going. Like, listen, if Homer were alive today, it would be the Iliad and the Odyssey and the story of Mr.SmoKkkk versus Imperialist on Westfold.
This is like the Greek tragedies of old, boys. This is the Iliad. This is Homer's Odyssey told again and again. But instead of going on a sea cruise with his boys and seeing some crazy shit, they're on Westfold and it's Mordor versus Goblins.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to get venereal diseases, though I'm not sure quite how. Anyway.
Alright, it's got to be over here. We've now got Drogoth here in an aerial battle. He's going to be running away surely now. These Harad archers are going to do some damage. There goes the Firefly. Witch King will still not die. And now Drogoth will go down here. I think he's running away. In neutral. Yeah, GG Drogoth. This has got to be the game over, I think. You can't lose him again and expect to carry on, you know. This force is going to get taken down here by these Harad archers. All fully upgraded, everything now. Fire arrows out the kazoo. Level 10 Azog is going to go down here. Surely you're going to get a flyer on him. Surely you're going to get one of these flying boys to come and have a go. Maybe not. Jeez Louise. But what can the Goblin player do? Not much. He's been totally boxed in now. 650 CP for him versus 1000. And he's only got 135 on the board, which means he has essentially Azog and a group of Goblin archers and some of these choppy boys. Out. There's the barrage. There's Goblin King.
I'm proud. We're going down with the ship, and I salute every single one of you that's here with me now. This was a journey. This was an experience. I feel as if I have learned something about life itself, having sat here for the last hour and a half watching this epic struggle between these two titans of this game, battling
Epic
over
struggle is
Euro
the
and
word.
League.
Oh my god.
In the year of our Lord 2020, 14 years after its release by Electronic Arts, the Battle for Middle-earth 2 expansion pack, The Rise of the Witch King, GameReplays.org, unofficial patch 2.02, version 8.3, on the community outsourced Rise of the Witch King ELO ladder stream has given us this game. There's so much history that has led up to this brutal struggle, and I just want the sweet release of that.
There's Azog died. I will correct you there. This is actually the Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 Rise of the Witch King, GameReplays.org, unofficial patch, version 8.4, not 8.3. But apart from that, you were absolutely correct, you fucking goober. Finally, the fortress goes down. We didn't fast forward it. We didn't skip a single thing. One of the biggest, most epic matches I've seen in a while. And don't get me wrong, it did turn into a slugfest at the end, but they always do. We still have to appreciate here the sheer force of will. Double darkness coming up there from both of the players.
What a game.
Mr.SmoKkkk defeated Imperialist. GG. What a